Hello, hello. Welcome to this episode of The Creative Pause. My name is Susan Padron, and I'm here with my co-host, who I will allow to introduce herself.
Hi, I'm Stacey Faye. It's so good to be with you today. And we're very excited today to have Kat with us, who's going to talk with us about some of our fitness goals, which I know for so many of us have gone off the rails, so to speak, over the past number of weeks that we've been in quarantine. So I think it's really helpful to check in on that and get some good tips. We'll introduce Kat in a moment, but we always like to start the show by telling you a little bit as to why we're here and also asking how you're doing. So the show is really meant to act as a moment of calm in your day, connection, grounding, or provide something helpful that you in the craziness of your day, you might not even get a chance to just kind of slow down at all. And so we hope that these episodes offer that to you and allow you to take a little bit of a breather, with us here. So with that said, we always ask how you're doing. We think this is a really important part of the show to just let you know we're thinking of you, and we're going through a lot of the same emotions. And so I'll share, Susan will share, and Kat also will say a few words as to how she's doing. As you're watching this at home, please do journal about it, or say it out loud, or just take a moment, maybe close your eyes, take a deep breath, and think about how your day has been going so far. It's good to always check in that way. So how am I doing? Today is decent. Yeah, this week's been interesting. It sort of started out pretty rough, having a lot of anxiety leading up to having a baby. And then yesterday was a bit better, and I got outside and then tried to celebrate some things with my son throughout the day, little moments. And today, it's one of those days where I'm just trying to take it one moment at a time. However, it is a bit rushed of a day, especially trying to balance parenting with doing the creative pause and also, doing some things for my business as a business owner. And some days can feel, I think, like how it feels for a lot of us, very, very rushed. You feel like you're sort of getting something half done before you jump into the next thing. So it doesn't make for a bad day, but it does make for a pretty crazy day. So that's how I am. How are you doing, Susan?
Doing okay today. I got to make a lot of music with my son today, and that's always fun. I mean, there's always some kind of musical element in our day because my husband and I are both former music teachers, so we have a lot of instruments in the house, and our son has really taken to that. But today we got to play some Beatles songs, which it's always nice when it's fun for me too, when it's not just I don't know, a lot of loud noise, but when we can actually listen to something fun or play something fun, it's definitely a helpful part of the day. So yeah, today was very music focused, which was good, and I think that helped to just raise my spirits a little bit and feel pretty okay. Yeah. So, Kat, how are you doing, my dear?
I'm doing well. I definitely relate what Stacey was saying. It's been a bit of a roller coaster week. It started off in not a good place, and now it's really picked up. And I think one of the biggest pieces to that is both my kids are in grade school, and the school took on a different schedule, and it's really resonating well with both of my children, which in that return takes a little stress off of myself, and I'm able to plan my day a bit more accordingly so I can address my clients' needs, keep the business progressing, and not have to do the constant mental juggling and be like, what was I doing back in what. So today's been a smoother day, which has been nice.
Yeah, I can totally relate to when homeschooling goes well, so many other things in the day can go well. When homeschooling does not go well, I feel like I'm gonna lose my mind. Thankfully, my son's only 5.5, so it's been just a lot of workbook kind of activities because his school was a daycare, so they stayed open longer through the early parts of the quarantine. And then they didn't really get on board with the remote learning until much later, like after we had already established a routine and I had some materials to kind of supplement. And thankfully, I feel like we found some books that he's enjoying more than he was before. But yeah, when it's a bad learning day, holy cow, I am like shot by like, I don't know, 11 a.m. And just, so yeah, hearing you say that when things are better, like the new schedule, the kids are doing well, I completely can relate to that for sure. So now I get the pleasure of sharing the quote that Kat sent to us. So I'm going to do a quick little screen share and get that up in front of all of us so we can see it. And the quote is, "People are capable at any time in their lives of doing what they dream of." And I think it's beautiful. I love that message. And Kat, can you share with us why you decided to share this quote with us?
Absolutely. It's actually a quote from one of my favorite books, The Alchemist. And that book changed came into my life at a very pivotal time. I was going into my senior year in college, and you're trying to figure out your life, and so I read that book, and one of the things that never set well with me is kind of how we have this preset life, go to college, get dream job, have it all figured out, meet someone, start your whole life. It's very, 1 to 2, 3, 4, move along. And, it just, this quote is kind of resonates me with the sense that at any point you're capable of doing anything you dream of, anything that you have a desire to do, that is in your heart, is a burning passion, you're completely capable to do. Time is not lost and you can achieve it. And this is something that I talk a lot about with my clients, because there's often this, well, I didn't do it then, there's no hope for me. And I'm like, there's always hope. You can always change. You can always achieve your goals. And it doesn't mean that, a certain goal wasn't obtained in, what the societal pressures say, doesn't mean it's not obtainable. So that's where it just holds a lot of power and just promise that you're still able to do, no matter where you're at in your life, age, time, situation, you can still do it.
I think that's amazing.
It is. Yeah, it's a theme that's come up, interestingly enough, in a few episodes prior to this too, in terms of just allowing yourself to reinvent yourself and be open to change. And, Susan and I both had totally different careers prior to doing, our respective businesses. And then this passion project is totally different than what we've done. And I think change can be really scary, but if you allow yourself to think on that level of that quote, you really can do anything at any time, if you put your mind to it.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you for sharing that, Kat. So we're very, very excited to have Katherine Bright with us today of KatFitLLC. And Kat helps people of all levels, but in a lot of ways also mothers, to gain clarity about their fitness habits, so they can be strong and confident in their bodies at any stage that they might be at, and any fitness level that they might be at, from pregnancy and beyond. And a lot of Kat's story that I really admire is that a lot of what she does came out of her own journey, post-pregnancy into fitness and into, finding confidence in her body again. And that shines through in every element of what she does for the business. Katherine works with clients virtually as well as in person during, normal times when we can, see one another. And she's been doing a lot of really amazing online videos and tutorials all throughout the time of, this social distancing, that can be really helpful for just learning different exercises and just keeping you on track for your fitness goals. So Kat will share more about that at the end, but yeah, I definitely recommend, following her and checking out what she's doing. And Kat's a mom of 2 young boys, 5 and 8 years old. You heard her talk a little bit about that. She's a runner, she loves cooking, and she loves spending time outside and gardening as well. So Kat, we're so excited to have you here, and you can take it away.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm grateful to be here and share what I've learned. You know, as Stacey had said, a lot of what I have learned in my life has helped shaped my not only my fitness journey but also my business. And my business was a second act for myself. So I hope what I share does resonate with you, and that it allows you to have some reduced mental strife with fitness and with your fitness goals. And hopefully it inspires you to kind of keep going. Um, so the things I'm going to share with you are not only great for the situation that we're in, but if you work on practicing them, they're going to allow you to have more freedom when we resume to life as normal. No matter what that normal looks for you, these are 5 key tips that are going to allow you to have more consistency, more freedom, and more control over your own fitness, and really allow you to see progress and huge achievement of your goals. So what I'm going to talk about is reframing your fitness and understanding that fitness is not linear. One of the things that is really just out there all the time is that you have a fitness goal, you do these 3 things, you achieve fitness goal. That's not the case. I mean, with anything in life, if you look at any project you've done, if you look at just how life is not linear. Yes, time is in a sense linear, but what you do and what you achieve and how you progress in your goals is not linear. It kind of looks like something like this. I have a goal, I'm going to achieve it. You start practicing it, barriers come up, hurdles come up, maybe a stop start or a failure happens, and then you have to pick up, learn, and go on and adjust and go. So fitness is the exact same thing. Your fitness goals are not concrete, they need to be fluid. Your life is constantly changing, and this is something I tell my clients all the time. Your life is changing. Your fitness needs to meet you where your life is at that point. And what that means is, 5, 6 weeks ago, we all were derailed. Everybody's everybody's schedules were completely derailed. We were put into different schedules, and you know, we were left with, what do we do this? How do I get this done? Looking at work, school, fitness. Everything was totally thrown up in the air. And humans are creatures of schedules and habits. And with fitness, looking at it and how it can still fit into your life without being a chore, in what we're in like this ambiguous aspect of, there may not be a set schedule, or everybody's home under one roof. If you have kids, your spouse, partner, roommates, everybody is home. And how do you still have that entity that's important to you with fitness? And so, it's perfectly normal to, in this time, to not have the motivation to want to work out. It's not that you're lazy. It's not that you don't have the motivation. It's not that, whatever the powers may be, there's a lot of barriers that have come up that you may not have the solutions for. And so whether you might have been a very habitual workout person where you always went to said gym 5 times a week, whether you never even attended gym but you always went for a run, a walk, or whatever your fitness capacity is, you might have been very habitual about that, but now you might find that it's just not happening. Again, it's not laziness, it's not lack of motivation, but what it is the laws of behavior change. And the second law of behavior change is, it needs to be attractive. And so right now we're feeling a lot of barriers in our lives where we feel like we don't have a lot of control of our current situation. Work is totally different. Your home life situation, whoever's residing with you, it's totally different. You're around more people, or forced to be around more people a lot, and you're not able to have that freedom to move about. So in order to get that back to you, finding a way to make fitness more attractive. And that's where, with these 5 keys, are applicable now and after, whenever life can resume back to normal. And what it pertains to is really finding peace and freedom with being able to work out at home. This is stuff that I work with my clients because, the primary client that I have is moms. And even though, we don't have, thankfully, we don't have global pandemics happening all the time, but with mothers, we tend to have our own little, if you will, pandemic. Kids get sick, work projects, vacations, snow days, you name it, any interruption to your daily flow is a bit of like a mini pandemic for yourself. And how do you keep your fitness going without that stop, start, and feeling like I can't get anywhere with this? So the first key, and don't worry about having to write this down or if you miss something, because at the episode or below the episode, there's a handout and it will have all the questions and the spaces for you to kind of pick through and fully answer them and kind of go back and revisit for yourself. So the first thing is mindset. So that's not talking about like motivation, but what I want to really get at with mindset is for a good workout, what mindset, like what do you feel with that mindset of getting a good workout in? We all have what feels really good and how to move our body. For some, it's, CrossFit, some it's Pilates, some it's yoga, it's whatever really makes you feel good. Like whatever you engage with moving your body and getting that good workout, at the end of it, you're like, that felt good. So with this, I would say, what is your focus? Are you someone who, when I finish a workout, I have to be peeled off the floor? Or when I finish a workout, I just want to feel like I moved and I feel like the blood flowed. What is your fit? So kind of what, do you like to lift heavy? Do you like to dance? Do you like to run, walk, be in nature? Whatever, that is kind of like your method and your feel. How do you want to feel after that? And once you can kind of decode that, you're going to be able to reproduce that in almost any setting. And knowing that, okay, if I get a good workout in, for me, kind of how this transcended for me was I was a college athlete and I love pushing myself to the nth degree. I'm a person where I'm like, I'm going to lift heavy. I need to feel like once I'm done, I'm done. I'm going to go take a nap after that. And what I had learned when I became a mom for the first time was that's not conducive to mom life. If I kicked my butt in a workout, I still had to pick up my baby. I still had to function. I still needed to move. And that was, at that time, not able to happen. So that I became really frustrated with, that I would never be able to get a good workout again. But what I needed to decode was what, to me, the underlying kind of deep part of the onion was a good workout. How did I need to feel? So, and that also breaks down to, what happened with me, just speaking personally, was in the beginning, I just resisted working out because I couldn't get that release that I used to get before I had a child, before I became pregnant, before, when it was just me. So I couldn't get that. So what I did was like, well, if I'm not going to feel that, then I'm not doing it. So I was falling into the trap of that all or nothing principle, where if I wasn't going to get what I wanted, it was done. And so then I became more frustrated because I wasn't moving, and I'm a person that I like to move. I'm just a very active person. So it just started hurting me. So I had to decode what my good workout was and how could I obtain it. The second key, which plays a little bit into that mindset, is stop waiting and just work out. Again, going back to when, and even now, when my son was a baby, I would be like, okay, I need a perfect portion of time, kind of how I had it beforehand, or even, when gyms were fully functional and open, you can go, you get your work, whether it's a class or your said workout, if you're an AM workout, PM worker, lunch workout, you have your perfectly chiseled time. And it was like right in there, built in your day. Now, there is no perfect time to work out. There might be times where, mornings may be tougher still because maybe, you're not a morning person. You're not going to wake up and work out at 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. before work, or evenings you're too tired. And speaking for myself, I like my mornings, before this, now I wind up sleeping in, but before I would be a really early morning workouter, because that's just how it worked with my schedule. But in the evenings, I wanted to be working on my business or, you know, spending time with my husband. I just wanted to shut it down and spend that time with my family. For now, it's, you know, the mornings, I'm sleeping in a little bit longer. I'm tired, feeling the more mental drain of juggling, you know, kid work with the business, with working with clients. And just at the end of the day, I'm exhausted and I just don't have the energy to wake up early in the morning. So I work out whenever I find the time during the day. So what it is, I'm going to find a time during the day, whether my kids are there or not, and I'm going to work out. And sometimes I vocalize that to my husband, saying, after we get through morning school meetings, I'm working out. He's not going to hold me to it. I mean, he's off working in his office. It's a declaration to me stating, and this is the biggest thing, if you take one thing away from this whole talk, is your health matters. So making that declaration into the air, even though, and I will look at my kids and I will tell them too, they don't care. They're like, "Bye, Mom, I'm gonna play," you know. But it's that declaring that my health matters, my time, my fitness matters. And when you put it out there, it's making a bold statement, because at the end of the day, your health matters and moving matters. And that also shows your children that, and whoever's around, that, hey, this is huge, it matters. And they're gonna accommodate that. So the other thing that I find that can be not only, you know, in everyday life, but also when your schedule kind of gets tossed up, is a plan. So oftentimes I hear from clients, and it happens with me, I'm no exception to this. If I don't have a plan, if I'm in between my own training plans, if I just decide to do a workout on a whim, what I find, if I don't have a pre-written plan down, it just takes out some of that wanting to move. I spend time being like, well, what am I going to do? And I'm like, oh, I'll just start doing something. So then I wind up wandering around my own gym being like, I don't know what to do, you know? And I'm in the business. So if you have a written out plan, you go into it and you avoid that. Okay, I'll just Google a workout real quick. Oh, that looks cool, but maybe I'll do this. Or it just takes away that mental strife of, what am I going to do? Because we only have a certain amount of critical thinking. And when you get to your workout, you don't want to think about what you want to work out. You just want to work out. You just want to move your body. So by omitting that, you break down another barrier and make it easier for yourself to be able to get a good workout in. In my gym, I have a whiteboard. I write my workout out on there, and I know exactly what I'm going to do. You know, for my clients, in the palm of their hands, because whether they work with me in person or now everybody's virtually, or, you know, I have a lot of clients where I just work with them solely virtually, their workouts are always in the palm of their hand on any smart device. So they know, okay, random time is my, 11 a.m. is my workout time today. Could be a different time tomorrow. Boom, my workout's right there. I get it done. I see it. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to find it. It's all in this beautiful little place right here. So if you can create that for yourself, and you know a plan, and you have with that plan a space set up that, okay, here's my workout, here's what I'm going to do, it takes out that guess, it takes out that mental strife, it takes out just having to think about one more thing, where you can focus on giving back to yourself and putting that energy to yourself, to your health, and showing yourself that, hey, I matter and I know I can do this. The fourth thing is boundaries. So this may seem a little not redundant, but contraindicated with the fact that, the all or nothing principle. But with boundaries, what you want to think about with boundaries, it's not, I must have between, 7 a.m. and 8 a.m. to work out. And if I don't work out, then it's not going to happen. Again, it's not the all or nothing principle, but it's the boundaries of stating, my health matters. I'm going to take this time to do it, and making it known and aware to others around, whether they're children or roommates, spouse, whatever your living situation is, this is my time. And again, it doesn't have to be attached to an hour on the clock, but knowing that this is my workout time, I'm going to get it done. And what that can look like with boundaries is whether you get in, it happened to me, I think it was last week. I was like, I had my workout already, I was ready to do it, I got into it, and I wasn't feeling my workout. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna respect myself, and I ended my workout. And because I was just not, it wasn't that my workout was going bad, I just literally mentally, I could not get into that. So I respected the boundaries of myself that I wasn't gonna force myself to do a workout if I wasn't feeling it. It's the same thing that I apply, to everything. So it's also looking at, my kids know when I'm working out, they're around me, but they know mom's working out. So there are times where I'm like, yeah, go watch a show. I know, you might have been on the screen all morning with school, but you're going to respect my boundary and know that this is important to me. You can go watch a show, go have an extra snack. And then they're in the gym with me, they're outside, they see me working out. I know that they're going to be present and that they're seeing me, and I can tell them, hey, hold on, I'm getting my set done of whatever, maybe, squats or what have you. And they see me paying, just also right. They see me giving back to myself. They see the importance of my health, my self-care there, and they know that they can wait. And in return, I've seen my own, just from experience, my own kids be like, mommy, I just really need to move my body right now, and this is how I'm going to do it. And I'm like, you do it, and they start to learn and pick up on why it's important to listen to your body or move it. And I'm not sitting there saying you need to work out, they start to see that and they start to model that behavior. Sorry, just looking my notes. So, the other thing is, I just want to reiterate, it's not, having the boundaries and having that plan there is not a no excuses. It's also having the understanding that, you're taking time for yourself and giving permission to yourself to have that time, and listening to your body, listening to yourself, and meeting it where it's at. And this is so crucial. And one thing I find, it pertains to men as well, but most importantly to women and moms, is meeting yourself where you're at. No matter if your children are babies or if they're teenagers, you're still carrying, or adults, you're still carrying a mental load. And right now, with all the kids being home and you not getting a break, even though you're carrying a vast mental load. And it's okay if your workout, again, going back to the last week where I had I was pumped to do this workout and I just couldn't get into it. I just stopped it and I changed my workout to more of just a stretch because it just was not working with me. I was exhausted. I was one of those where I was angry at the day of school just did not work out. I was like, okay, fine, I'm going to get this awesome workout. It's an intense workout that I have planned, but I had nothing left to give. And so I was like, you know what? Stretching, I'm going to work on focusing on my breathing, some stretching, some, rehab work for myself. And that gave me what I needed. So it was establishing the boundary of not pushing through at all costs and no excuses, but meeting myself mentally and physically where I was at. Surely I could have pushed through, but at the same point, I wouldn't have been happy about it. I would have been disrespecting myself and not meeting myself where I'm at. And that's something that I tend to coach a lot with my clients is it's okay. And especially with newly postpartum moms, your workouts are going to look different. You are not sleeping. You are up all night. And even if your baby sleeps through the night, right from, day one is 7 hours, you're still doing so much. And that's where we need to shift. And looking at, that shift in those boundaries, they're applicable to everyday life when, you're going full throttle. And how do you adjust and still move and find that fitness in everyday life without kind of abusing that boundary for yourself. So the last key point is clothes. It may sound kind of weird, but right now we all are in this benefit of being able to wear athleisure, or even the fact that, Zoom, with Zoom video callings, you can be business on the top and, athletic on the bottom. So what I've been recommending, especially to a lot of my clients, and this is, whether in normal times or not, is think about, like, when you leave your house for your, 9 to 5 job, you bring your gym bag with you. Think of it now. You get up, whether you have video calls, if you, depending on whatever your day looks like, if you need to be business on top, bring your workout top with you to your office. Have it there, throw it on, get your workout on. With athleisure, or even if you wear pajamas all day, a lot of times, and this is in regular life, I tell my clients, hey, this is a workout you can get in your pajamas. You're not gonna break a sweat, but you're gonna be doing a lot of incredible deep core work. You're gonna be doing a lot of stretch strengthening for your body. So just do it in your pajamas. Don't, if you've already showered at the end of the day, you're not gonna work up a sweat, but you're gonna be giving your body back what you need. So the more fuss we think about clothes, and trying to just be like, well, I need the right clothes, I need the right shoes, I need the right this. Forget about it. You just work out in what you're wearing. Again, if business attire, if you're in that, then definitely change. But knowing that you don't need shoes. I actually tell my clients, I'm like, I'd rather have you work out in bare feet at home. And some of my clients will, in my own studio, I do, because I was telling them, like, I work out in bare feet in my own studio as well. I prefer that because it gives your body a different tactile feel with different movements than constantly being in sneakers. So then you're getting a different, challenge with your small stabilizer muscles. So that's where, if you, again, remove that barrier of, okay, well, I need to now go upstairs, get dressed, or go wherever, get changed, come back in, that's another transition. You take that out and you're just there, you're ready to go. And especially, speaking to moms, just work out in whatever, the other thing, kind of going back to, I kind of missed this point, going back to stop waiting to work out, is knowing that you can work out throughout the day. That doesn't mean every waking moment and every spare moment to yourself get a workout in or do a set of squats or whatnot, but look at your workout and break it down into segments. This is something that's been a massive saving grace for my clients, where they are juggling, work, distance learning, as well as just kids when they're not distance learning or having to help them distance learn. They're just spent. So I say, okay, well, when they're outside running around, here's how, 3 exercises I want you to do of that workout. Here's how I want you to break it down. So I've actually taken their workouts and broken it into 5-minute bursts throughout the day, so that they can give back to themselves throughout the day without feeling, okay, now my kids are finally to bed, I'm exhausted, now I'm gonna go work out. That's not conducive for anyone, because at the end of the day, and I'm exhausted, I don't want to work out. No one wants to work out feeling exhausted and depleted. So that's where just kind of breaking things down and getting away from this all or nothing principle, no excuses. The only way I can get a workout is XYZ, and looking at things in more of a fluid, abstract movement is going to help you have more consistency and not have that, pause on fitness to then having to regain everything when you're in those perfect situations.
Kat, that's really helpful, and it made me your point about, well, both boundaries and the kind of communicating with the people in your life about, like, this is my time, right? This is what I'm going to do. I do that with my 2-year-old. I mean, he's 2 months and change, or 2 years and change, and some people probably think that's ridiculous, and I'm like, I tell every time, like, and for me lately, because I'm very pregnant, it's a dance workout, because dancing makes me feel good. And so I'm trying to do some of the things you're saying, because I know that there's so many ways I would never get a workout in otherwise. So I dance. And so I say to Julian, I'm like, Jules, this is mama's time. Mama needs some time here. I'm going to dance. And most times it's, it's not the most elegant of places, right? Like, I'm like, I have to pause the video to, like, help him go to the potty or whatever crazy thing is happening. But every single time I take that time, I say, Jules, this is for mama. It's for my heart. It's for my lungs. It's for me. It helps me stay sane, or helps me stay happy. to try to not only set an example, but I think, as you're saying, it does give yourself permission to say, I'm going to take this time. Because I know all of us feel in this time like some measure of guilt, right? Like we already feel like, oh, our kids are in front of screens too much, or they're doing this or that, or I'm not spending enough time with them, or I'm not as focused as I could be. And so I feel like sometimes working out for a lot of us can feel almost selfish. Like, you know, we don't want to do that. And I know I feel that way with him, but I try to give myself permission and then say to him, Julian, this is really important. And then invite him in. And most times he won't dance with me. But,
exactly.
you know, every so often he kind of like just starts dancing like in the middle of the dance workout. And I'm like, oh, he gets it. Like he understands. And so anyway, yeah, a lot of what you said around that really resonated with me, with being in this space of like a young toddler, very pregnant, you know, and knowing that like I've got to move. It's the only way that some days I feel better is if I move. Otherwise I just go down that rabbit hole of feeling not so good. So anyway, I just wanted to share that if anybody else is like in toddler land bouncing that. But I think it doesn't matter if you have younger kids or older kids. It's a very real kind of space we're all finding ourselves in, and the permission to take care of yourself is huge.
It is huge. And one thing you said there, Stacey, too, is the fact that, you know, you're going to have to take breaks to, you know, do the potty training, you grab a snack to help out here. And that's totally okay. You know, even now my kids are 5 and 8, my workouts are not perfect. I did a post on my Instagram where my kids were outside, you know, riding their bikes or whatever on the driveway, grabbed some equipment, went out in the driveway. I'm sure all my neighbors thought I was crazy, but I don't care, you know. And I just started getting my workout in and doing it. And I literally, you know, I kind of tried to write out how my whole workout went. It was break up a fight between siblings over here. Okay, get back to a couple 6, you know, my youngest son falls off his bike. Okay, grab a Band-Aid there. That's okay. You know, they still knew it was my time. And, you know, inviting them into that space to see you working out is allowing them to be like, oh, mom needs her time. I need my time. And it gives them a little bit more of a sense of independence and being an individual, and showing them that it's okay to care for yourself. And as much as we might feel that selfishness, that guilt, you're showing them that it's okay to, it's giving them permission to respect themselves, to respect the fact that they are feeling something and they're entitled to that feeling. And it does feel selfish. And that was one of the hardest things for myself to overcome when I became a mom the first time. Was I was working insane hours, and I didn't want to take the time. I wanted to take the time to go to the gym, but I didn't want to take the time because I worked 12 to 13 hours a day and 6 to 7 days a week. I was a college track and field coach, so I was always on the go. I mean, I had many state-of-the-art gyms around me to work out to. It wasn't that. It was when I was off work, I felt like I was neglecting my family, you know, and I should be there and not giving to myself. And then, you know, that's kind of where I had to discover this whole evolution of I need to work out at home. That was the place that I actually wound up being more successful, is working out at home than working out at work. Because when I was at work, I felt like I needed to be home. And when I was at home, I felt like I needed to be at work. You know, so it was, how do I have peace and find that flexibility that still holds those boundaries, and give myself the permission to be able to work out? Because again, your health is paramount and it matters. And you know, the thing I always tell my clients is every single airline tells us when we get on a flight, put your oxygen mask on first before helping others. And that's what you need to do with your health. It's your oxygen mask. It's what makes you feel better, and understanding that in that day, it might be, you know, getting a dance on, or maybe it's, you need to take 3 minutes of just silence and maybe a meditative state. And that's huge. It's huge, especially now more than ever. So looking at these keys, if you can start to put one into practice and reshaping your mindset and reframe working your fitness goals, you're going to find that when things return back to normal, whatever that normal looks like, things are going to pick up at a faster pace. That you're going to have these practices in there, that they're going to become a habit, that it's going to be more attractive. You're going to be like, oh, so, you know, if my child gets sick, or a closure of daycare, you know, whatever the circumstance may be, you're going to know how to adjust with that. And that's going to be the key to consistency and success with fitness.
Yeah, I really appreciate all of the permission that you've been weaving throughout these keys to, just being able to make the time for yourself, and the permission that like it doesn't have to be a perfect like cookie cutter workout, and if something isn't working that you can shift. And I feel like that's just something that so many of us really need to hear, myself included. I also had a question for you, Kat, when you were sharing early on about how it's important to acknowledge how you like to feel like during and after a workout, and then gravitate towards those types of workouts. How do you help women who maybe they had a certain kind of workout that they really liked to do before becoming a mom, and then like now they physically like can't do it anymore, or if they've had some kind of injury where like, let's say, high impact is now just off the table for them, but it's what they really liked to do. Like, how do you suggest for them to shift and find something else that feeds their soul in the same way?
That's an awesome question. Modifications are huge. So one of the things that I have found is the more and modifications in the sense of how do I take like a high impact workout and still get the same effect. And there are amazing low impact exercises that you can still get the same feeling from that. So that's where it comes to having someone who has the skill sets to understand how to modify and to get that modify and have a lot of tools in their kind of toolbox to reproduce different workouts. Some of my clients, especially looking at newly postpartum, I tell my clients, I'm like, if you want to go do burpees and hit, when you're 6 weeks postpartum, I'm not the trainer for you. I disagree with that. Doesn't mean you can never do that, but there's things we need to address to get you there. It's when we have that foundation, those things can happen. And the other thing is, if clients do have pre-existing injuries that come in, I do have a great network where I may be like, I need you to go see this person, and we're going to work together with this. I have an amazing physical therapist that I work with here that, especially if it's potentially a postpartum symptom, as far as anything related in the postpartum stage that is causing some issues or pain or inability to for the body to function properly, I do send them out, and then I work with the other practitioners in putting together a plan to get back there. But it's really in having the tools to look at, problem solve, and get back to the clients. And what I find with most of my clients is they do start to get back to some degree of doing, high intensity workouts, of finding that freedom, of being able to challenge themselves.
Thank you. That was such a great, so many great solutions that you presented. I know that, like, so many women that I know personally whose bodies have changed tremendously since, becoming a mom, or developing like pelvic floor issues where they just are so limited in terms of what kind of workouts they can do. I was a former runner. I've had 2 knee surgeries, and like then running is just something I cannot do anymore. And I found other workouts since then, but it's been like very much a trial and error kind of process for me. So I really greatly appreciate how you answer that question, how it can really help to guide so many people, so many women, so many moms, to just continue to find a way where they can move their bodies and feel good in them while going through that movement. So thank you.
Yeah, I think too, it's the element we sort of talked about in the beginning, and it's threaded throughout, of trying to be open to change. And I think and being compassionate with yourself. I mean, I think especially in this time we're in of the pandemic, it's a lot of us are really hard on ourselves in all kinds of ways. And when it comes to fitness or movement, it's not helpful. Like it's totally the opposite of like, it's not going to, you know, get you moving at all if you continue to be so rigid about, you know, where you want to be or what it has to look like, or and so, yeah, so I appreciate all the points you made about permission and compassion, really, and kind of just meeting yourself where you're at, which for all of us, I think our lives and even our mentality and maybe even ourselves, like we've changed so drastically in this short period of time. And life is going to change even more, you know, when we go back to freedom or normal or whatever that looks like. And so that element of compassion, I think, is key for certainly for new mothers and mothers in general, but for anybody, I think, at this time. So thank you so much, Kat. Do you have any other, well, first of all, we would love for you to share where people can find you and get in touch with you, and also anything you might be offering lately. And then any other last words you want to share with the audience?
Sure. You know, if you have any questions, I always offer 30 minutes free, no obligation consultation. You know, I am very transparent with not only my clients, but also anyone I speak to. You know, if I can't help you, I will try to get you in contact with someone who can help you. I'm not a trainer where it's like I can cure everything or help everyone, you know. And that's where, if you know, especially with women's postpartum, women's fitness, that is, I love working with women with that, or helping women find solutions. So you know, the one thing I would urge, if any mother is out there listening who may feel that they aren't able to work out the way, they have postpartum symptoms, whether they are 6 weeks or 6 years postpartum, and things have changed, no conversation, no question is going to weird me out, and I wouldn't think any the less of anyone. You know, my clients are very open with me, and I respect them, and I keep it confidential. You know, I do, you know, always ask permission. Hey, you know, I have this other practitioner. Would you be willing for me to refer you to them and share what you shared with me? So just don't feel, I mean, the biggest thing I can say, especially for postpartum women, is don't feel like your body's broken or it needs fixing. Your body performed an incredible miracle, and there's so much amazing research out there, and more research is coming out because women's fitness is finally being studied for the first time since ever. It started in 2002, which is shocking. So, you know, there's just so much out there that's coming and that's going to change, that's going to help so many people. And so just don't feel like your body needs fixing. It's not broken, and there are answers. And the way you can find me is my website is www.kat.fit. I'm on Instagram and on Facebook. It's the same handle. It's at KatFit Studios. So you can just look me up there. And yeah, I'm always willing to chat. If anyone has any questions, just shoot me an email or just follow me on my social media.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kat. And I wanted to echo also what I said in the beginning of, you have a lot of great stuff on social media right now of videos, and your kids are always making cameos in the videos, which I love because you're involving them every step of the way. So thank you so much for all of these tips and ways that you're helping people, you know, continue to move and continue to focus on health in this time we're in. Before I close with our closing quote, anything else, Susan, you want to add?
No, I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for being on. Thank you for all of the wonderful things that you shared.
So we always end our show with the same quote, which is from a Mary Oliver poem, and it is, "What will you do with your one wild and precious life?" So as far as today's episode, how will you get moving? What's that going to look like? For me, it's dancing. For you, yeah, how are you going to get your mojo on with movement in this time? So thank you so much, Kat. Thank you, everybody, and we'll see you in tomorrow's episode. Bye-bye.
Bye.